this is Josh from Lucas Lighting. Today we're going to talk about the L5 current requirements and where we recommend you do and don't use this bulb. We're going to be comparing the L5 to two halogen bulbs. The first one is going to be the 9005, which is also known as the HB3. This is a high power bulb. It's 60 watts at 12 volts. This is typically used in dedicated circuits like high beams or high powered low beam. The other bulb that we're going to compare it to is the H16. The H16 is only a 19 watt bulb. This is typically used in dedicated daytime running light circuits. It's also used in dedicated fog lamp circuits. So compared to the 9005, this is a very dim and very low power bulb. The power supply we're going to be using is a typical power supply, benchtop. The very top line is going to be voltage, which is basically the amount of electrical pressure we have. The second line is going to be amperage, which is the amount of electrical flow that we have. And then the very bottom line is wattage, which is the full power that we have. Typically the wattage is the top line voltage times the amperage, and then you get the wattage rating. So the very first bulb that we're going to test is the 9005 bulb. You can see, pay attention to the very bottom line. You can see that, and the top line, you can see that as the voltage goes up, the wattage goes up, and the amperage goes up. So pretty much everything goes up together and everything goes down together. And now with the H16, you can see that it's much less power on that bottom line. And don't worry, you don't have to memorize these. I have graphs coming up shortly. You can see that the bulb dims as well. The bulb is going to dim when we go down, and it's going to get brighter when we go up. So the last bulb that we're going to test is the L5. I'm going to have to put my hand over it. Now pay attention to the bottom line. Other than a couple of little spikes, the bottom line is staying pretty well at 50 watts. That's because this is regulated. So as the top line goes up, the middle line will go down, and vice versa. So we're actually regulating the amperage in order to keep the wattage exactly the same. So the bulb should not dim or brighten between the car at rest and the car running. So here's our first graph. This is amperage variation. If you look, our three bulbs are on the left. 12 volts is in blue and 14.4 volts is in orange. That's just kind of the difference between the car running and the car at rest. You can see that with the car running, we actually pull less current. So the more voltage we have, the less current we pull. And then the two halogen bulbs on the right are actually going to pull more current with more voltage. Now let's look at power. So power, if you look at our three bulbs on the left, the power is always the same. It's 28 for L2, it's 38 for L3, it's 50 for L5. So this kind of gives you a really good visual representation of what bulbs can replace other bulbs. So the 9005 bulb's very high wattage. You can replace that with any bulb that we have. But if you look at the H16, you could probably replace that with maybe an L2 or an L1. But if you put an L3 or an L5 in there, you're going to be grossly underpowered. So another way to test amperage in your vehicle is to use a multimeter. You're going to have to break usually the negative. You're going to break it and you're going to put your multimeter in line with it, and then that will give you the ability to measure current with your multimeter. An even easier way to do it is with a clamp meter. You can just clamp around the negative or the positive. Typically we're clamping around the negative. These are typically inexpensive. You can get a Fluke add-on. This one specifically, I think I got it at a pawn shop for like $20. So I mean, you can get them very cheap. Hope that helps, and just make sure, test your bulbs, look at the wattage of the bulbs that you're replacing, and of course give me a call if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.